Alright, here we go. I know I say it with every how-to video, but this is going to be another good one. So it's been a long time since I've made my original DIY Alabama rig video. So I'm going to make a new video about what I do now with all of my A-rigs. Adding bling to it, how I used it, put the clips on, the head I'm using. Since it's been a while since I've done one, and I have done some improvements, let's get right to it and show you what I've done. Put that one aside. Okay. So what you're gonna need to make this Alabama rig, you're gonna need this, or what I use, this AFW American Fishing Wire toothproof stainless steel leader wire. This is the brown. They also have just a straight stainless steel, like silver color, but this is brown, 325 pound rated. So basically the number 18 size. Okay, you can get this online. Oh, before I go any further, just letting you know all the stuff, not the pliers and cutters, whatever, but everything else that I'm gonna use here, it's gonna be on our storefront. So it's at startfishingtoday.com/storefront. And if you scroll down to the Alabama making materials section, it'll have all this available for you to see. But yeah, you can get this on Barlow's, you can get it on Amazon. A lot of local tackle shops carry this, but again, this is the AFW toothproof stainless steel leader wire. It's 325 pound rated, number 18 wire, so we're gonna need that. Let's see, you're gonna need what I use again. This is, and I get this at Home Depot or Amazon. This is aluminum long rivet. This is the 3/16 wide pack of 50. So you're gonna need those rivets. You're gonna need some JB Weld marine weld or some epoxy, two-part epoxy glue. Again, wire cutters, needle nose pliers. All right, and here's where the tricky part comes into play. So you're gonna need these little, okay, you're gonna need those little metal sleeves. You're gonna need your blades. These are just standard blades, okay? You're gonna need your clevises. You're gonna need, I use two different sizes split rings. So this is the 38 pound split ring that is actually attached where the clip goes that the fish are gonna be biting on. Then you have this separate size, so this is 16 pound. And that'll be where the actual blades connect to. So this little split ring here is going to be the 16 pound, and over here is going to be the larger 38 pound split ring. Okay, so those are handled. You're going to need to have your double barrel swivels. So these are, this is a 50 pack, 66 pound barrel swivels. And last but not least, you're going to need your snaps. So these are 55 pound rated. Let's see, pack of 100. And again, all this stuff will be on our storefront. And all of these, let's see, these metal sleeves and, did I just drop them? And the clevises, those I get at Barlow's. These all wander split rings. And then everything else is Dr. Fish. And those are, again, Amazon purchases. So without further ado, we'll get started here. Go ahead and put the pliers up here. Don't need that rivet yet. Get the epoxy out of the way. All right. Good. And oh, and this cardboard is just for when I go to mix this marine weld, since it's two-part. Squeeze it onto here, mix it, and then you use it. I'll put that aside for the moment. All right, let's get this out. I already know I was going to use pretty much all of this, I think, so I have another fresh pack here. But we'll go ahead and get this all cut. Now, this is all dependent on your preferences. Many people like the long arms, some want shorter arms, like what you can get on Amazon. The cheaper ones that I have on the storefront, they're like a starter pack. It's like 2 for $10. The arms are really short, so it keeps it really tight. The arms are pretty flimsy too, so it keeps it from, keeps the arms from tangling with each other and the hooks. So I'm actually going to try something different with this rig setup today when I make this one. In the past, I've always made these arms relatively the same in length. So this one is actually, this is a broken one that I'm going to be recycling the arms and everything with, but this was a 5-arm one, so this was one that stuck out farther. So this was the middle one. There's an arm that was here. So as you can see, most of these are the same length. But what I'm going to do here today is, instead of doing all of them the same length with the middle one being longer, I'm just actually going to vary them. Some are going to be much longer than others, some are a bit shorter, but I always start with around 10 inch, and then I'll go from there. So we'll measure this one out if I can hold this in the right hand properly. Okay, so it's about 10, 11, and we'll go maybe about 11 inch. Let's do 11 inch. Nothing exact, so about right here. All right, so we'll do that 11 inch. Cut this one. That's done. I'm not saying this is the longest, I'm just picking a size. So again, this is going to be a 5-arm. So we'll go ahead and cut 4 more arms on this piece. Alright, first what I'm going to do is make the hook side. So I'm going to make these eyes first. Okay, now I don't use a wire bending tool. I just use pliers. Wire bending tool with this 325-pound stuff, it's not ideal. Okay, so go ahead and I just wrap this over, make the eye out of it, as you can see there. So I curve it down to about there, but I want this wire to be about 90 degrees from the rest of the wire, so I'm going to go ahead and take my needle nose and squeeze that. Okay, so now you can see, hope it's clear enough, you can see that piece sticking out is 90 from this. Now I've already pre-done's the wrong word. I've already pre-added, I guess you can call it, these 38-pound split rings to my swivels. So what you're going to do now is you take this swivel eye, wrap it around, or not even wrap it, just put it on that piece till it slides into that now eye. I'm going to go over here to my vice grip, and I'm just going to pinch that end, let this swivel and split ring fall. I'm just going to take my pliers and wrap it around 2 or 3 times. 2 is fine, but since I have that tag in there, I might as well wrap it around. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and cut that off. Okay. Go ahead and take the pliers and kind of just try to pinch that tag end piece down, just so it's not so sharp and sticking out. Okay, that's good. All right, there you have it. That's one. Now I'm gonna fast forward through this part, but I'll go ahead and do these other 4 the same exact way. All right, all done with that part. Now to put on the blades. So with the blades, super easy. So we have these clevises and sleeves. So I'm only going to be putting the blades on the outside floor. So this is going to be a 5-arm. Going to be a 5-arm rig, but the inside long arm is not going to have a blade on it. So I got to make sure, okay, this is the long one, so that's not going to have a blade on it. So now I'm going to take my sleeves, do one sleeve, okay. Then I'm going to take a clevis. This is a little clevis here. Has holes on both sides. Now, the size of the clevis is extremely important. And again, it's in the storefront. But this hole, I don't know if you could see it, but the hole that's right in here is just large enough to fit this 325-pound steel leader wire perfectly. All right. So we have one sleeve on. Now I'm going to go ahead and take these pre-done blades, and I'm going to take that swivel. I'm going to slide it right over that clevis. Then that clevis is going to go onto this wire through those two holes. Let that slide and put the second sleeve on. Don't worry about the sleeves and all that. We'll tighten those up later. So again, just do that same thing for the other 3 arms. Sleeve, clevis with blade, okay. And again, these swivels, the size of swivel is exactly what I needed. That fits perfectly across the radius or the diameter of this clevis. Anything smaller than the size, see, what was it, the number 6 or 66-pound rated double barrel swivels from Dr. Fish, any smaller and they don't fit around the clevis end. All right, so again, slide that down, add the other sleeve. Excellent. Just about done. Sleeve, clevis, swivel with blade. And guys, this is so incredibly, it's fun to make your own stuff, fun to catch fish on your own stuff, and it's super cost effective. A lot of these A-rigs that you're seeing online by a lot of these larger companies, yeah, they're good, but they're like 25 bucks a piece. I'm telling you guys, making them on your own with this quality of hardware it's second to none. And yeah, I've added a little more cost to it with the clevises and blades and everything else, but this A-rig would probably be about 20-25 bucks with some of the big companies, and roughly you're looking at per rig probably $3.50 now instead of the $3 that I was doing before I put the blades on. So again, for the amount of money you're spending, the total amount to get all the materials, yeah, it's going to cost you a bit. Not a lot, trust me, not a lot at all. Probably under, I don't know the exact number, I'll put it in the description. But then each rig, as you break it down piece by piece, is going to be about $3.50. Okay. Now that we got this, the blades and everything on there, now we're going to go start building it with the with this rivet. So what I do is I'll take a little hammer. You gotta get the nail part out of this rivet. So I'm gonna go ahead and put it in the vise. Just tighten it up a little bit. Get this nail out of there. There we go. All right, now I don't need it this long. So this is about 2/3 of an inch. So what I'm going to do, I don't want this on there. There's no reason to have this piece on there. So you could cut it off with wire cutters or something. So the nail goes in this side, open side. And I'm going to put this into the vise, tighten it up. And the whole reason for putting the nail back in there is so when I squeeze the vise, it doesn't close this rivet. Now I'm going to take a metal saw and I'm going to cut this piece off. Okay, so I got my metal saw and I'm just going to cut maybe about 1/8 or a little more than 1/8 of an inch off this thing. Can't even see it. There you go. Alright, that's all cut. Didn't need to show that whole process, there's no reason to. But now I gotta get this off the nail. I had the nail a little too far and actually cut the nail instead of just the rivet. This would have been a lot easier had I done it properly. But I'll go ahead and get this nail out of here. Okay, nails out. See a little rough edges in here. Go ahead and trim that off just so there's no burrs. All right, here we go. We are ready. All right, so now this is what is gonna hold the rig all into place. It's gonna be the head. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, so I stick that rivet, aluminum rivet, through there, and I'm going to take my pliers and I'm going to, and again, these are the arms, this isn't the long center one. So I'm going to take this piece right here and I'm just going to bend it just enough to curl, make a curl over itself. I should probably use stronger pliers. Okay, so you see it starting to curl right there. Now I need it to curl a little bit more. Okay, and then see how that just barely, see how that barely hooks over the side? That's all you want. Just needs to hook over that side right there. Might be a little more than I want to have sticking out the side, so you just bend it just a little more. All right, that'll do. All right, so that's not coming off. Now you just do it for the other 4 that aren't going to be the center one. So stick it through. Sorry, get back into screen here. You can let that other one drop. It's not going to go anywhere. Take the pliers. All right, now you can see all of these are curved. All these ends are curved, so they're not going near the head. You can see the varying lengths of these, not by a lot, but enough. They're not the same. But now we do the long one, the one that actually connects to the line. So we'll get that sleeve down. This goes straight up through, just as the others did. Gotta find its way in here. Come on, where are you at? There you are. Right, straight through there. Okay. Now I'll go ahead and make an eye on this one. Okay, let's see, where do I want that eye to be? How far? Okay. Alright, so we'll go ahead and make this eye here. Just like we did with these, right? Just like we did those, I'm going to make the same thing up here. And again, make a 90. Good enough. Over to the vise. Go ahead and wrap that. Tag in 2 or 3 times, whatever slack you have, or I'm sorry, whatever end you have on this wire here. Go ahead and just wrap it. All right, so that's like 2.5 times. Go ahead and cut this tag off. Okay. Go ahead and close that down. That's good. All right, now we're ready to finish, at least the head part. So I think that's about right in there. This is about that space between, here, let me get a piece of wire here. The space between the top of these wires here and that wire wrapped around there. All right, so that's about 1/4 inch. That space between the top and the bottom wire here. We're gonna now get that epoxy in there. So now that I have it set where I want it to be, I'm gonna mix this epoxy on the cardboard here. And then we're going to slip this down, get the epoxy in here, slip this back up, and then we'll use the these wire crimpers to crimp and lock that into place and see how it looks. So let's get to mixing this epoxy. All right, so again, this is the Marine Weld specially formulated marine adhesive, sets in 5 minutes, and it's white. It's an automatic 2-part. So you go ahead and you just twist this top off, comes right off. And you're gonna grab both ends and you're gonna squeeze at the same time. That'll shoot equal parts out. Don't need a lot. That should be enough. Okay, so grab a towel, wipe these ends off. I'm gonna go ahead and pull it back a little bit so you could see the epoxy kind of get pulled back a little bit. Then I'm gonna go ahead and, I don't remember which side was which, so I'm gonna wipe that head off there. Go ahead and stick this back in and lock it. Okay, excellent. Now I'm gonna go ahead and take just a cheap screwdriver. I'm gonna mix this all around, probably for about 90 seconds. All right, now go ahead and slide that piece down. Add this epoxy in here. I want it everywhere in there. I want it touching all of the wires. All the different pieces of wire need to be touched on this. Okay, I don't want it on there. All right. Okay. Now I'll go ahead and slip this rivet up. Okay. Get out some of the excess off. Actually wipe some off. Gotta do this a little faster than I'm used to doing because it is a faster set epoxy. Now we're gonna take these wire crimps and I'm gonna use this second one here because it's the tightest. And I'm gonna go ahead and go as tight as I can. Tight as your wrist can grab, or tight as your palm can grab. That's what I'm pushing down with. Because you want those steel wires to be as secure as possible. Okay. Next part of the video, I'll be showing how to put the putty on. But for now, that's good. We'll let that sit, dry, done for right now. As with all the other A-rigs I've made, the head that I use, or that I put on these, so this part right here, is made using this JB Weld water weld. It's a water epoxy, sets in about an hour and a half or so, but you want to let it fully cure for about 24 hours. But the great part about this is it's 100% waterproof. You can actually even start it, set it, and it will cure underwater. But this is what I use for the head. So I'm going to go ahead and take this out, show you what it looks like here. Alright, let's kind of put that aside. So again, it comes in a little tube like this, little top. And it's basically a putty that you have to break up, mix up for it to work. So it has a little, you open it up, it has a little cap on it. Take that off, set that aside. Now, this doesn't need much. You only need probably about 1/3 of an inch of putty. So I just take scissors and cut about 1/3 of an inch off that. Okay. Now, definitely want to wrap this up. Wrap that up, put a little top on it. And I always put it with the head, the open end, down back into the tube, and then put the cap on it to let as little moisture in there as possible. And then when I go to mix this up, it does get very sticky. So I am going to use some of the nitrile gloves, like a 200 pack or whatever from Costco. You can buy them online, Amazon, whatever. But while I'm doing this, I dip my fingers in water. Otherwise, it's really gooey and it'll stick to your fingers. So that's why I use the gloves. And if you don't use water, it'll start sticking to the gloves. So you want to get your fingertips wet and just kind of, again, move this stuff around, grab it, pinch it, turn it, and it creates the chemical reaction that will eventually make it harden. So as you can see, I'm just kind of breaking it apart, folding it. I don't know if you've ever seen the process for making like toffee, but it's the same thing. It just stretches and keep folding it on top of each other until it's mixed properly. So I give this about a minute, 2 minutes, probably about a minute now, so probably about 2 minutes to just keep mixing it. And this will harden almost as a rock. Okay, then I'm gonna give that little, turn that into a little ball of sorts. I'm gonna grab a screwdriver here, like a round end here, and I'm gonna put a hole right through the middle of it. Make that hole a little bigger. See that? That way I can slide it right on top and have this go through as clean as possible. Okay? And then you just fit it around it. A little bit more than I usually do, but so be it for this. And make sure to get all the putty off of whatever glove you're going to be using to hold the wire, because you don't want to have the putty going on the wire. I totally skipped a step that you wouldn't have known otherwise, but usually I take this little painter's tape and I wrap it around this wire so that way I can hold it without worrying about the putty getting on it. But in this example, totally forgot. Oh well, now you know. Get my hands a little wet again. You want to squeeze this enough, push it down and pull it back up, push it down, pull it back up a couple times to get all this putty into that area where those wires were and onto that rivet, so that it gets in there, and as it hardens, or when it completely hardens, it is secured in there on those wires and doesn't move, doesn't come unstuck as you're using it in the water. But it doesn't have to be perfect. None of mine are. They're just kind of on there to protect the inside from water, as well as making sure that your line doesn't get stuck on it as you're casting and using it. But there it is. Nothing fancy. Kind of looks the same as this one. A little bit bigger than this one, but oh well. So now I'll just let this sit for probably about 24 hours. I'll come back tomorrow, and we'll set all the blades and everything, put the clips on, and it'll be ready to use. So yeah, there it is with the water weld, the JB water weld putty. We'll go ahead and hang this, and then like I said, come back tomorrow and we'll finish this up. Alright, so there it is, solid as a rock. I let it cure for about 24 hours, but it's ready to fish. Now in the past I've painted them to make them match like a fish with some, you know, green for like a sardine or smelt or whatever, but I really don't think it matters. I didn't ever believe that I caught more fish with it painted than with it not painted, so I'm gonna leave that alone for now. But now let's go ahead and get these blades all set into place. Now if you're just gonna store it and not use it, you can just slide these up and do it without bending the arms out. But if you're gonna plan on using it right away, you can fold these out and that'll make it a lot easier to crimp. So with me, I'm most likely gonna use this sooner than later. So I'm gonna go ahead and bend these out. I'm gonna leave this in the middle and then have four pulled out. So again, this is the one without any blade on it, so that'll be middle. So let's see where this blade or this one's at. This is kind of on that side, so that'll be pulled out here. Let's try this. So I just go ahead and pull it out. That's good enough. For these sleeves, I'm going to take this top sleeve, slide it up as well as the blade, position where I want the blade to be. So just say I want it to be right roughly in the middle. And I'm just going to take these. See, these are the wire stripper gauge sizes. Again, whatever you want to use, go for it. I'm just going to match this up with whichever one looks like it's the right size. Alright, so there's one crimp. Two crimp. Okay, let's see how that works. See how that doesn't slide anywhere, that ain't going anywhere. That's stuck. And when you go to crimp this second one, you want to make sure you leave a little bit of space so this clevis can still move around. You don't want it to be, you don't want that sleeve to be right on it, because then it has a hard time sliding around. So just enough. You want it to be just a little bit far enough away. I'd say about 1 millimeter away. And go ahead and then crimp that one down. There you have it. So that's crimped down. Now I'll go ahead and do the other three. But alright, so there you have it. There's the bling. Now you could put it down further, you could put it up higher. It is what it is. Now let's put the clips on it. Again, this is 5 arms, so I need all 5 clips. So I'm going to go ahead and open this both sides. So you got the main clip, then this opens up. You're going to take that, put it over these split rings. Now, you may be asking, why do I use a split ring instead of just putting the clip straight onto the swivel? In my experience, I have more action and I see more movement when that split ring is separating from this swivel. So if I have this clip directly on the swivel, I don't, like say you get a little bit of corrosion or something in this swivel, it doesn't move around enough, and I don't want to, I want to have as much action as possible. Could you have the clip straight to the swivel? Absolutely. I just choose to use that split ring there instead of just the clip to the swivel. All right, and there you have it. That's it. 5-arm DIY umbrella rig, A-rig, Alabama rig, whatever you want to call it. That is it. So again, let's just review real quick the materials used. We had the AFW tooth-proof steel leader wire, size 325 or size 18, but 325-pound rated. You need your cutters. You could use wire crimpers if you want, otherwise the cutters can be useful. Got your needle nose pliers. Again, using 66-pound double barrel swivels from Dr. Fish. We've got the 100 pack of 55-pound clips. Got your clevises, metal sleeves. Those are on Barlow's. Again, I'll leave all the information down below, and you can get this all from the store, our storefront at startfishingtoday.com/storefront. You've got the blades at the size size 16-pound, all Wonder stainless steel split rings, as well as the 100 pack of 38-pound split rings. You got the JB Weld water weld putty to make the head. You've got the marine weld, and you can also, again, you don't have to use the marine weld. Again, this was the first time using this, but you can use just simple JB Weld 5-minute 2-part resin, epoxy resin. So you got your resin here, you got your hardener here, mix it equally. You can use that as well. You need your long rivets. Again, this is the water weld. But yeah, that's it. That's the 5-arm DIY Alabama rig with blades, with some bling on it. Now, let's take a look at catching some fish with it. You! 1 or 2 more on this, and then switch to the single for a little. Oh, it's on, it's on, it's on, it's on, it's on. Got it, got it, got it. There's one. All right, one. Not big by any means, but not a skunk. All right, took the gold for the win on that one. There we go. Get off the pants. Get off the pants. There we go. Little dude. Thanks for playing. Review you.